nerds, what's up? Today we are doing my wrap-up for January 2016. I have finally figured out how to write the 1-6 on my papers and in my notes and stuff. Took 2 weeks. I'm surprised that it didn't take that long, so we'll see if that continues. But 2016, here we go. My first wrap-up of the year. I read 10 books and I'm in the middle of an 11th and I'm hoping to finish it today. So let's get into this. Fact of the day today is that apparently there's this thing you can get when you take a medication, an antibiotic, that they call an allergy, but it's not actually an allergy. It's more of like an intolerance to the medication, and then it makes all of your joints hurt really bad. And I've been dealing with that for 2.5 weeks. And I went to my doctor today and she was like, well, if it's not gone in 3 more weeks, then come back. Okay, thanks. That didn't help me. Let's do this wrap up. Off January 1st I actually drove on New Year's Eve and the day before that all the way up to Lompoc and then all the way back down from Lompoc because I went to visit Sierra for her 21st birthday. So for that time frame, and then I finished it on January 1st, I was listening to an audiobook by the name of Binge by Tyler Oakley. I was amazed by this. This is such a heavy book too. Like, it's so tiny. Why? And why is it expensive? I don't understand. I gave this book a full 5 out of 5 stars. Listening to it and listening to it in Tyler's voice made it so much more like I was just sitting and like talking to him or like having a conversation with him instead of, you know, reading a book, reading a memoir, because he's hilarious. We're listening to the audiobook. There are pictures in the book. So I thought that was going to be really disappointing not to get to see, but it wasn't, because he stopped the audiobook and was like, P.S. right here you would see a picture, but you can't see it, so I'm just going to describe it to you. And then he would describe them to me. So that was great. It was so good and just so real, and it felt like a memoir. It felt like real life, and I really loved it. And I just thank Tyler so much for giving us even more of a piece of him than we already had. I think that was just really sweet. I picked up a little tiny book, and it was Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them by Newt Scamander, aka J.K. Rowling, and it was cute. I really liked it. I gave Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them 4 out of 5 stars. I found out Hogwarts was in Scotland. Didn't know that before I read this book. And I just really liked the little writing that Harry did in it. The Bibliothon started and I read Soundless by Richelle Mead, which was our group book, so we actually have a live show of this book up on the Bibliothon channel. I'll link it down below. Gave Soundless a 4 out of 5 stars. It was okay. They didn't do enough world building, but I enjoyed the story. It was fun, it was entertaining. It just kind of felt like a contemporary until the very end. And then my second book I picked up for the Bibliothon was, so far, I think my favorite book of 2016 maybe. I don't know, there's some other contenders, but it was A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. Sarah J. Maas is fucking amazing. How does she do it? She's my favorite author. As of right this minute, like, she's my favorite author. So it was very good. For a little bit, I did think, like, I did find myself comparing it to Throne of Glass, and you just have to kind of not do that because it's not the same. People like this more than Throne of Glass. People like Throne of Glass better. I don't know where I stand with it because I'm so much more emotionally attached to the entire Throne of Glass series, and this is only the first and sequel, so I don't know, like, where I stand with just Throne of Glass versus Court of Thorns and Roses. I don't know, but it was really, really good. I loved plot, and then I loved the like possible second love interest that they introduced. That's maybe not a love interest, but I think it might be, and I just kind of like it, and I don't know how to feel about it. It was really good. I picked up Will Grayson by John Green and David Levithan, and this was a book that took a minute for me to get into. I wasn't sure how I was feeling about it. It was It was very like intense. Both of the main characters that we get different perspectives from are both very pessimistic people. They're very negative, and so I just found myself going like, I don't really like either of our main characters very much. But as the story goes on, you realize more and more about like why and what happens, and the plot devices that both of these authors used throughout the story were like really intense, and I really enjoyed it, and it was just really good. I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars, so definitely highly recommend. It takes a minute to get into. Also, half the chapters, the one perspective, is written in all lowercase letters. There's no capitals, like no starting sentence capitals, no nothing, and that took a minute to realize, but by the end of the book you didn't even realize it was happening, and I really liked that. I thought that was just an interesting choice. That was all I got through for the Bibliothon, but I did pick up Red Queen later, and I gave this a 3.5, 4 out of 5 stars. It wasn't quite a 4. The beginning is it's been done before. I didn't feel like there was a whole lot of a new perspective until the very end. I liked our plot twist, I liked the climax, and I liked all of the shit that happens in the last like third of the book and the last fourth of the book. That was all really cool. I didn't feel like our main character's relationships with her families were very well delved into. It didn't seem like she cared that much about her family, so some of the things that happened didn't really feel like they mattered that much, even though they obviously were supposed to matter. I loved the 2 princes aspect instead of just the one. That's more traditional. It felt like the Hunger Games and the selection mushed together with superpowers. It was good. It was an entertaining read, especially towards the end, but like it took a minute to just get over the fact that it was a story that had kind of already been done before. But I definitely will be picking up the next book, so if that says anything, then like, I don't know. My TBR challenge for the month of January was to read a graphic novel, and I succeeded in this challenge ×3, because the next 3 books I picked up from the library, and they are first 3 volumes of Saga by Brian K. Vaughan. These are fucking glorious. Like, I don't really like graphic novels. I've read quite a few of them. I really want to like them because I like the art, but I just find myself flipping through them like really fast and not really comprehending what the plot is that I'm reading. Like, I don't usually grasp the storyline as well in a graphic novel as I do in a regular book, and that's not something that I enjoy. I don't know if I'm reading them wrong. Am I reading them too fast? I don't know what really the problem is. Or maybe I've just picked a few shitty graphic novels. I don't know what's happening. But these were fucking amazing. I loved the art in them. Like, these are our main characters. Sorry, it's out of focus. These are our main characters, and they're beautiful, and I love the war and the plot, and then the narration I think is what really gets me, because it's narrated by the daughter in the future, so I really liked that aspect of it, and that was really good. I gave all of these a 4.5 out of 5 stars. The only thing I really kind of was disappointed with is something happens and they get really mad, and then they deal with it, and then it happens, and then it ends, and then they're all happy again, and then something really bad happens and it happens, and then they get really mad, and then it happens, and then they deal with it, and then they're all really happy again, and it's just kind of this like never-ending cycle of getting mad at each other, fixing the problem, being like, okay, what next, getting to the next problem, realizing there's a problem, getting mad at each other, and it happens over and over again. And that might be because it's graphic novels, so it's a faster paced story than what I'm used to in reading novels. And so that was my only one little thing that bothered me, but still, 4.5 out of 5 stars. If you're trying to get into graphic novels, I would honestly say this is a good choice. It is graphic, as in sexually graphic and violence graphics, so if you're young or aren't into that, then don't read this, because it's definitely got some weird shit in it. And then the last book that I finished in the month of January so far, it's the 28th right now, was The Diviners by Libba Bray, and I listened to this basically all month long. It's a fucking long audiobook. It's like 24 hours or something. I listened to it starting for the Bibliothon. This is our Bibliobook Club for the last 3 months, so it was October through December. I finished it. Our live show is actually January 30th, and I'll link it down below. This was so good. I loved listening to the audiobook. I think that really just like added an extra oomph to the story. I gave it a 4.5 out of 5 stars. I'm currently reading Pivot Point by Kasie West. I got it from the library. This is a book that's been recommended to me by Red and Brittany. They are obsessed with this book, and I can see why. I read the first third of it in one sitting. I just picked it up going, let's see if I agree with Red and Brittany, and then I read a third of it. And so I was like, oh, okay. So I'm hoping to finish it tonight. I've just got this little bit left, and I'm really loving it so far. It's really, really great. Now I need to do my TBR challenge for February. February, what will we be? Why am I singing? What's happening? Start a new series. And it says new to you, so it doesn't have to be a new release series, it just has to be a new series. I got some options, we'll see. I'm not gonna pick right now because I can't decide. That's my video. I hope you guys enjoyed this wrap up. What did you read this month? What was your favorite book that you read this month? I think mine, A Court of Thorns and Roses or The Diviners. I don't know which one, it's one of those. I gave A Court of Thorns and Roses a higher rating, but I really, really, really enjoyed both, so I don't know which one. Follow me on all the social medias. I use Snapchat and Twitter the most. I will see you guys very soon with a new video. Bye!